What is up guys, it's your boy Soul here, back with another classic WoW video for you. This time centered around Wrath of the Lich King Classic, where Phase 4 literally just came out last week, and I've been playing a bunch of Wrath Classic this week. I've been gearing up 3 of my characters to the point where I'm kind of content with where they are. I want to update you guys on my progress in Phase 4, talk about my characters, how much I've been able to gear them up, just to show you how fast you can gear up your characters as well, by doing the same thing that I'm doing basically. And I just want to talk a little bit more about Phase 4, because the thing is, I haven't really played Wrath that much since Phase 1. I kind of burned myself out in the interim between Phase 1 and Phase 2, took a massive break, came back for Phase 3, but didn't really do any endgame content because Trial wasn't really like that appealing to me, but ICC is arguably one of the best raids of all time, so it's definitely a raid that I really want to see, and I've already stepped foot inside. I've only cleared the first 4 bosses though, but I have finally stepped foot inside, and we have been rep farming, we've been doing some content, but either way, let me give you guys my thoughts on Phase 4 of Wrath Classic so far. Okay, so first of all, Phase 4 is probably the best time ever to come back to the game itself if you want to like gear up solo, or if you just want to catch up. It is such a good catch up, not even expansion, but phase. You can gear up very quickly, like personally I have 5,000, is that 360? Yeah, 5,360 gear score, which isn't that much. But I started this character basically about a week ago. I started him on Tuesday. Actually, no, Wednesday. Literally the day when Phase 4 came out for EU, I started this character, and I was sitting on 3.6k, I believe, so I've been getting over 1,500 gear score, almost 2,000 gear score in 1 week, well, 1 weekly reset. And basically what I'm doing is I'm queuing for dungeons, and I did something kind of interesting, but I wanted to do every single dungeon on heroic before I stepped foot into anything more difficult, just to like get a refresh on how the bosses works, on how the dungeon works. And if you ask me, anyone should do that, because doing all the dungeons on heroic, first of all, you get emblems. You want to have emblems of triumph anyway, because you can use them for tier gear, for example, if you're buying tier gear. So you want to have a bunch of emblems. So do random heroic, or even queue specifically, or do a world tour, just to refresh mechanics, and then you can start stepping foot into alpha, beta, or gamma. Now what I did here was that I did a couple of alpha runs, and then kind of really quickly stepped foot into beta instead, and I think we did 5 beta runs before doing gamma. Now what I will say is that gammas and betas are about the same difficulty if you ask me, because gammas are more difficult, but you also get a buff, or everyone in your party gets a buff. So some dungeons are literally easier on gamma than they are on beta. So if you ask me, once again, do every single dungeon on heroic, then do a couple of alphas, maybe do a couple of betas, then just start doing gammas. And if you want to, you can search up like a video, tactic or something on some of the dungeons, or read up the mechanics, because some of them, they're mechanic heavy. But as long as you understand the core mechanics, like in Ashol Narub, stack everyone in the same place so you can get people out of their webs. And you also have Utgard Pinnacle, you have like a song of dance of like snow and fire, or ice and fire. It's very easy once you understand the mechanics, so you just have to like kind of try, see how they work, and then start gearing. Now from Gamma Dungeons, you get something called Scourge Stones. You also get emblems, and you also, if you control Wintergrass like we're doing right now, you getting these Stonekeeper Shards. Stonekeeper Shards you can spend on, for example, meta gems, or even heirlooms. I'm personally spending them on heirlooms, for example, but they're just a bonus. But you're also getting, once again, emblems of triumph and Defiler's Scourge Stones. Now, Defiler's Scourge Stones are really important here, because you can spend those to get some really cool gear as well. You can basically spend those to get, I think it's Trial of the Crusader, you can get like the tier loot, and even some very good trinkets. So if you're playing Alliance, this is like the room that you have to go to. You have the Defiler Scourge Stone Exchange. Now, you can even use them to make gold. So like 12 Scourge Stones, you get 1 per boss. That's 1 primordial serenite, which means that you're basically getting 100 gold per boss you're killing with the current price. You can also convert them to sidereal essence if you want that instead, but you can also spend 20 of these bad boys for a trophy of the crusade, or you can just keep scrolling and buy some other things as well. You have some bracers for 30, the bracers are 245, basically everything is 245, so it's like Trial of the Grand Crusader or Trial of the Crusader loot, and you can get some really good trinkets. If you're playing melee as well, you can get Death's Verdict from here, which is a really good trinket for like pretty much most melee characters, I believe. You can even buy weapons. So Scourge Stones, really important for the gearing process. You can get those from Gamma dungeons, and you can also get them from the brand new dungeons, the Halls of Reflection, Pit of Saren, and the Forge of Souls. Now, I can't show you this today because I've already done the daily quests, but you can also pick up a daily quest for dungeons over here. You get 2 dailies, one for a daily heroic, one for a daily beta or daily gamma dungeon. I think it's gamma now, daily gamma. Now, the gamma one gives you 3 emblems of frost, I think, and the heroic one gives you 2. So doing both gives you 5 emblems of frost. Now, the brand new dungeons, Halls of Reflection, Pit of Saren, and the Forge of Souls, they count for both. So, for example, I've done 1 Pit of Saren today. Looting the final boss gave me credit for both those 2 quests, which means 1 daily dungeon gives me 5 Emblems of Frost. And Emblems of Frost is what's used in the brand new tier system, for example, so I have 89 of those right now. And this is how I'm looking. After simply spamming some dungeons, getting some Scourge Stones, even doing some raids on this character right here. I even have this piece of heroic leggings from Trial as well. So, to recap, Dungeon Finder is awesome. I'm really enjoying Dungeon Finder. I think I'll make a whole video talking more about the pros and cons of Dungeon Finder, because I've been really vocal on this, is it called the system? On the Dungeon Finder, basically, since the launch of Wrath. I think it's very late that we're getting it right now. It makes sense to the OG Wrath, kind of, because this is when it came out, but they've made so many changes that it's no longer, like, it doesn't resemble what Wrath was back in 2006, or 2007, or whatever. Because we have WoW tokens now, we never had that before, we have Alpha, Beta, and Gamma dungeons. They've added so many things that I think the Dungeon Finder could have been here in Phase 2, or Phase 3, but Phase 2 could have made sense. Either way, like, Phase 4, definitely a good time to come back. It's a really good time to gear alts as well, through the new system. Getting a bunch of, like, badges, Gamma dungeons are really, really awesome to gear up. And some of the raids, including Trial on normal, is kind of easy as well. It's a good time to just get back into the game, get some gearing going, and with the Dungeon Finder, you no longer have to have, like, a set group of people to run with. Because doing dungeons before, you had to have, like, a pre-made or a guild. Now you can just come back to the game, play whenever you have free time, and gear up at your own pace, without like having to coordinate with people or anything like that. It's just a really, really good time. Now, Phase 4 also brought with it a couple of brand new systems, which are kind of a hit or miss if you like them or not. It's kind of systems from retail, but it's overall just a quality of life increase. I'm kind of on the fence about them. I don't really mind them, but it's starting to look more and more like retail. But basically, mounts are now account-wide, so if you get a mount on one character, you can use it on all your characters, and you have a collections tab. So for example, I've gotten the Headless Horseman mount this year. I just have to flex that one because I've really been wanting this one in Classic WoW, and here it is. So we got this one, and not only did we get one, I literally got another one today as well. So I went from having no Horseman mounts to getting 2 of them in 2 days. Either way, you can get now mounts on all your accounts, or all your characters on that account, and you have a pet journal, you have a toy box, and you have heirlooms. So instead of having to send heirlooms from character to character, you have them all in one tab. And if you don't know how this works, if I want to have this heirloom, for example, I can click on this heirloom, and it makes the heirloom. So instead of having to send them back and forth, you now have a tab where you can craft them. You can't craft them with enchants though, so somewhere on some character, I have this one with an enchant. If I want to have that specific one, I still have to send that one around, but the base version of the heirloom you can now simply craft on any brand new character that you have. So that's a quality of life increase. I'm hoping that when we get to Kata, when or if, I'm guessing when, there's going to be a transmog tab down here as well. But that's a quality of life increase, came in phase 4, really cool if you ask me. But it's cool, and overall phase 4 is a really good phase. There's one more thing to talk about though for phase 4, and that is the fact that we still actually have a leveling buff as well. So not only is phase 4 good for quality of life, it's also good for raiding, catching up, and it's good for leveling. So if you're a brand new player, this might be the very best time to get back into playing Wrath again, or to start playing Wrath. As you can see right here, we have the Joyous Journeys, which increases experience gains by 50%. Now combine that with the fact that when you get to level 15, you're able to use the random dungeon finder while leveling. Now if you don't have heirlooms like me, or even if you do have heirlooms like me, that doing dungeon finder will give you a satchel of helpful goods, giving you blue items that will definitely help you out while leveling as well. So leveling is easier, faster than ever before, and you get loot. You get guaranteed blue loot from doing dungeons from that satchel. So getting to level 15, doing dungeons, spamming dungeons, is just a really fun and easy way to level compared to before. And if you are looking to do dungeons, it's definitely much better now than it was before. Because if you leveled a character in phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3 from level 1, how many Deadmines runs did you do? Or Stockades, or Wailing Caverns? I'm guessing like people didn't really do that many dungeons. I leveled alts myself, I could barely find any dungeon. The only dungeons I were able to find was TBC and Outland, but from level 1 to level 16, nobody was doing dungeons. Now, that's definitely changing. Either way, that's my video on phase 4, definitely a good time, both for new players, returning players, and already playing people. It's overall just a very good phase for Wrath itself. I'm looking forward to the future, or the continuation of this phase. Overall, I'm just really optimistic. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like down below. Let me know if there's any different videos you want me to make for phase 4. I'm probably going to make some gold making videos as well, because phase 4 does bring with it a bunch of gold making opportunities, so I'll try my best to help you guys out on that aspect too. If you want early access there, or just more information, I do have a gold making guide for Wrath, which is currently on the biggest sale we've ever had for this guide, and I just want to thank everyone who has checked it out for the support. Like, really, thank you so much. It really helps out me as a person and the channel as well, so once again, thank you. If you haven't checked it out, the link is down below. Once again, big gold making guide, PDF document, lots of gold making info, both gold farms, flipping, playing the auction house, investments, pretty much anything you could ask for should be there, plus early access to stuff as well. Either way, that's the video for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Leave a like down below if you did, subscribe for more classic WoW content, and you know what, as always, I'll see you again very soon. Peace out, boys.